News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for a thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.
Okay, so, wow. This is huge, right?
Wow.
Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte arrested at Ninoy Aquino International Airport.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, no kidding. A former head of state in the Philippines arrested based on an ICC warrant. I mean,
Exactly. And, our listener sent us these breaking news reports, and it's clear why this story is grabbing everyone's attention.
oh yeah,
So we're going to, dive deep into this whole thing.
absolutely.
What it means, how it all happened.
Yeah, this is really significant.
For sure.
First time a former Philippine leader has been apprehended based on an order from an international tribunal.
Right.
You've highlighted some really key reports here.
Yeah.
And our aim is to really understand the mechanics of this, the implications of this unprecedented event.
Totally. And, you, the listener, wanted to go, beyond just the headlines and really understand what happened and how it happened.
The what and the how.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really try to extract the key facts around Duterte's arrest and to clarify the legal gears that are turning here, specifically, the roles of the ICC and Interpol,
Right.
and understand the Philippine government's current position, all based on the information you shared.
Okay, so let's start with the core event here.
Okay.
The arrest itself.
Yeah.
The reports confirm that this took place on Tuesday, March 11th at Ninoy Aquino International Airport.
NAIA.
Or NAIA.
Yes, right. And the details pinpoint his arrival.
Yep.
He landed on Cathay Pacific flight CX-907 from Hong Kong
Right.
at 9:20 in the morning.
And his trip to Hong Kong, as reported, was for an event with overseas Filipino workers.
Uh-huh.
Interestingly, one of the articles you shared mentioned that rumors of a potential ICC warrant were already circulating while he was in Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a development, right?
Talk about a development. So upon his arrival back in the Philippines, the confirmation of his arrest came through pretty quickly.
Rappler cited a high-ranking source.
Yeah.
And a separate security source also corroborated it.
Uh-huh.
Plus the Presidential Communications Office, the PCO, issued an official statement confirming he was in police custody.
Wow. So multiple sources all aligning on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the central question, of course, is the reason behind this arrest.
Right.
The reports are unambiguous. It's due to an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court.
The ICC.
And the charges are extremely serious crimes against humanity,
Yeah.
linked to his administration's drug war.
Heavy stuff.
And it's really crucial to grasp the scale of what's being alleged here.
Yes.
Human rights groups, as one report you sent details,
Right.
estimate that tragically close to 30,000 individuals lost their lives during that period.
Wow.
These numbers really underscore the gravity of the charges before the ICC.
Yeah, and to be clear, crimes against humanity under the ICC's Rome Statute, they encompass a wide range of atrocities.
Right.
Committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a murder, torture, persecution. All of that falls under this.
So beyond the ICC itself, Interpol also played a role.
Right.
The reports indicate that an Interpol red notice was issued for Duterte after the ICC's arrest warrant was released.
After the warrant. Okay.
So what's the significance of a red notice in a situation like this?
Well, a red notice essentially flags an individual to law enforcement agencies worldwide.
Globally.
Yeah, globally, requesting them to locate and provisionally arrest that person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action.
So it's triggered by an international body like the ICC having already issued a warrant.
Exactly.
What's particularly noteworthy here is the ICC's continued pursuit of this case.
Yeah.
The Philippines formally withdrew from the ICC back in 2019
Right.
and even challenged the investigation, yet the ICC pressed forward, ultimately leading to this warrant.
Wow.
That signals a firm stance from the court, wouldn't you agree?
It does. It really seems to highlight the ICC's commitment to the principle of universal jurisdiction.
Yeah.
For the most heinous crimes, even when states attempt to evade their scrutiny.
Right.
It sends a powerful message that withdrawal doesn't necessarily grant impunity.
And the PCO statement mentioned that the prosecutor general himself presented the official ICC notification confirming the arrest warrant to Duterte upon his arrival.
Really?
That's a very direct action.
Wow. So considering the Philippine government's earlier position of not cooperating directly with the ICC's investigation,
Right.
how did this arrest actually come to pass? It seems like there's a subtle but important distinction being made.
That's a key point you're raising.
Yeah.
The report suggests that the ICC channeled its requests through Interpol.
Okay.
And while the current administration has stated it won't actively assist the ICC's investigation,
Right.
it appears they are fulfilling their obligations as a member of Interpol.
I see.
This distinction seems to be the crux of the matter.
Exactly. And crucially, a red notice isn't an arrest warrant itself.
Right.
But it alerts member countries that the ICC has issued one and requests provisional arrest based on their own national laws and extradition procedures.
Got it.
The report from Rappler even quoted Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre,
Okay.
who confirmed that representatives from the Philippine Center on Transnational Crime and Interpol were present at NAIA, along with Prosecutor General Richard Vaudelin and Justice Undersecretary Felix Tai.
Right.
Their presence strongly suggests a coordinated effort within the scope of their Interpol commitments.
It's a fascinating look at how international legal frameworks interact with a nation's sovereignty.
For sure.
Now, when a former head of state is taken into custody, there are always questions about their well-being.
Of course.
What information do we have about Duterte's condition?
Well, the BCO's statement specifically addressed this,
Okay.
offering assurances that the 79-year-old former president is in good health.
Okay.
They also noted that he underwent an immediate medical examination by government doctors upon his arrival, indicating a level of concern for his physical state.
And in a move that suggests an awareness of the intense scrutiny this event would face,
Right.
the PCO also mentioned that the PNP officers involved in enforcing the warrant were equipped with body cameras.
Oh, really?
That's not always standard.
No.
And it implies a commitment to transparency.
Absolutely. The use of body cameras can be interpreted as a measure to document the arrest process,
Yeah.
potentially mitigating any future allegations of misconduct. It signals an intention to maintain a degree of accountability in the execution of this warrant.
Zooming out to a broader perspective,
Okay.
the reports you shared mention that there are at least 4 individuals with existing ICC arrest warrants who were either current or former heads of state when the warrant was issued.
Right.
They specifically named Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Vladimir Putin as current leaders with ICC warrants.
Yes, and as the report rightly points out, there's a crucial difference.
Okay.
Unlike Duterte, neither Netanyahu nor Putin have been arrested.
Right.
Really underscores the unique nature of Duterte's apprehension in this particular context.
It truly emphasizes that he is the first former Philippine head of state to be arrested based on an order from an international tribunal.
Huge.
That's a landmark event with potentially far-reaching implications.
It is. It sets a potential precedent and will undoubtedly be closely analyzed by international legal scholars and political observers globally.
So just to bring it all together for you, our listener,
Okay.
former President Duterte was arrested at NAIA on March 11th under an ICC warrant for crimes against humanity related to his drug war.
Right.
This happened because the ICC, despite the Philippines' withdrawal, continued its investigation and issued a warrant which was subsequently processed through Interpol. While the Philippine government has maintained a stance of non-cooperation with the ICC's investigation,
Okay.
they appear to have honored their obligations as an Interpol member, leading to the arrest.
Right.
We're told Duterte is in good health, and the arrest involved transparency measures like the use of body cameras.
That's a clear and comprehensive summary of the key facts and the sequence of events as outlined in the reports you provided.
So you can see how these international legal mechanisms are playing out in a very real and significant way.
Yeah.
The arrest of a former president based on an ICC warrant facilitated through Interpol, despite the complexities of non-cooperation with the ICC itself,
Right.
is a major development with potentially significant ramifications for international law and the accountability of leaders.
Indeed, it really highlights the intricate and sometimes delicate balance between national sovereignty, the pursuit of international justice, and the obligations that nations undertake through international organizations like Interpol.
This raises a really important question for you to consider.
Okay.
What does this event suggest about the evolving landscape of international justice and the accountability of national leaders? How might this impact future interactions between nations and international courts, even when those nations haven't fully embraced the court's jurisdiction?
Yeah.
It's certainly a lot to think about as this story continues to unfold.
Absolutely.
And we will, of course, continue to follow it for you and keep you updated.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Bye.
News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for a thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.